Just waiting on the other guys to join in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Conscious Conversation Special Edition. We got Embodiment, Masculinity, and Awakening.
So Dawn, I will be logging off at 5:30. I'm gonna be teaching a class, and then I'm coming back after. It'll be closer to 7.
Okay. No worries. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Just waiting on a couple more people. Come on in, tap that screen, act like you know, and then act like you know tomorrow's my birthday. So throw the gifts at my guests. You want to throw me some too? That's fine. No worries. But we are going to be talking about embodiment, masculinity, and awakening. We are not going to be talking about what is masculinity, what is not. We are going to be talking to men who are actually doing the inner work. Okay, the inner work. We're not talking about toxic relationships. We're not talking about toxic behaviors. We're going to be talking about how to heal those things. And you're also going to be able to witness men who are actually embodying and doing the work that is necessary. So go ahead, tell your friends, tell your cousins, all your loved ones, bring them in. I'm just waiting on my 3 other guests. I don't know why this one's not going through. You guys got to hit that, receive the invitation. There you go. Uh-oh. Extra person up there. That's weird. Antonio.
What's up? What's up?
Hello. I'm so
How we
excited.
doing?
Everybody is coming in trying to join. Okay. No worries. One more is coming. You guys take a moment while we're waiting for our other guests and introduce yourselves to the audience for those that are not familiar with you.
I'll go ahead and start. Mr. Ford here, leadership coach, passionate about all things leadership and alignment, and just how we apply that to everyday life. And so looking forward to this conversation tonight. It's always good to be around a good group of brothers, and obviously the facilitator has created a pretty special evening. So I'm excited to talk with y'all.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Mr. Wright, Antonio Wright, owner of the Wright Mentality. Mental health, motivation, inspiration is all I do. Background pretty much is just in mental health, corrections. Hey, I love helping people. Just trying to speak life, shed light into people's lives as much as possible. Whether I hit 1 or 1,000, as long as somebody get their word.
Love that. Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate that, both of y'all. I'm Dom Waltower, aka King Dom. I'm a soul that's in this journey, trying to figure this thing out. I'm moving forward with it. Much like you, Chivalry. My heart is for people. My heart is to see people whole and see people healed, and so that comes from a place of me being not healed and not whole myself. And so once I learned that and figured that out, my journey has been about spreading that to everyone else, to whomever will listen. I do this in my professional life. I do a lot of work with the military, with the Marine Corps, working with men on social media. I'm just speaking life, and I think that's, for me, it's my job is just to be light and to speak life, and that's what I want to do. That's what I am doing. So there's a lot more to it, but we'll get to all that stuff later.
We will definitely get to that. My other 2 guests, one is having difficulties, the other one should be here any moment. So I'm going to start the questioning, and feel free to participate in the chat, please. We want engagement. We want questions. We want all the things. And also, I'm going to be inviting you to come up if you have a question for these gentlemen. Now, as many of you are aware, there are many panels out there that are taking place on a regular basis, but we don't really talk about the process of getting better, but we know people want to do better and be better. But most times you don't know exactly what that looks like. There's been panels I've been on where we talk about a lot of people not knowing what healthy dynamics and healthy relationships and healthy people look like. Tonight, I wanted to dedicate this live to men that I know who are actually embodying not just the healing aspects, but the masculine aspects that are within the healing, not losing, but gaining more of themselves as men so that they can show up better as fathers, as husbands, as pillars of the community, whatever you want to call it. They are showing up as the greatest and best versions of themselves. I know them. Most women who come on these platforms and they talk about men don't do this and men are this and that, anything negative, I'm telling you, there are great men out here doing the work to become better. So we can kill these dynamics or we can kill these narratives about men not being greater. Okay? That was my objective. So women can actually see there are some amazing men out here. And I know a lot more off this platform as well as on this platform. So once again, tap the screen, share the live, get this out to as many people as possible. It's not only a celebration of these men, it's a celebration of my birthday. Let's go. So I want to start by asking, I want to start with Mr. Ford. What version of you had to die for you to become the man that's sitting here today?
That's actually a great question. First off, happy birthday. Happy early birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's actually really simple. And when you've done the work, you can answer these questions pretty easy. At least I can. The version of me that had to die was the version of me that was people pleasing. The version of me that had to unalive was the version of me that was always looking for validation from others. It starts from a childhood, and it starts from where I grew up and some of those childhood things that I had to work through, especially from the parent-child dynamic, because it was definitely it was challenging at times. But I think my dynamic really put me in a situation where I wasn't quite sure who I was for a lot of years, and so to be able to feel like I was impactful or feel like I was validated, it was always trying to make my parents proud or make them my dad laugh or those types of things. And that actually carried on over into relationships. And then what I realized is when I stopped doing that, then it ended up changing. It created a different dynamic, whereas now people were a little upset because now I'm no longer people pleasing and making sure that they were good. And you have to be unapologetic and not necessarily worry about the effects, because at the end of the day, you need to be the best version of yourself. And so I had to release that people pleasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big deal. I think a lot of us lose a part of ourselves when we are too busy. I think I know I did a post about it. It's perfectionism, people pleasing. It's a fear. And you're afraid to mess up and misstep and not be received by people. So we overperform, and then we burn ourselves out. And it gets to a place where you're just like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's great that we can turn that back into ourselves. And if you don't mind sharing, in what ways are you now, as a retired people pleaser like myself, how do you give what you were giving out back to you? What are some things that you do now?
I think the first thing I do now is I used to tell people, I want someone to create a safe space for me. And now I don't need them to create the safe space. I'm going to create the safe space, and I will place them in that. And then I will set the boundaries. And I'm unapologetic on those boundaries. So I don't need anyone to be my peace. I don't need anyone to be my safe space anymore. I got that covered. I got it.
I love that.
However, if I am interested in you or in a friendship or even more than a friendship, I'll place you in that safe space, and I'll let you know what the boundaries are. It is up to you to remain in those boundaries. Walls keep people out. Boundaries protect yourself, right? So I don't want to keep people out, but I do want to give people an opportunity to maneuver within those boundaries. And I try not to keep them really tight, because I want to give people an opportunity to learn. So I don't want to just, chop them off at the first time of them crossing or getting close to a boundary. But I think it was important for me to make sure that I start setting boundaries and maintaining that focus and that respect for those boundaries, and requiring that of others that are around me.
I love that. I love that. Dom, you want to answer that as well? What version of you had to leave?
Shoot, he said it best, Mr. Ford. You summed that up. To be able to move away from the people pleasing, to be able to move away from the fear, and then the lack of identity that I had. It was me. I had to release not knowing who I was, and I had to figure out who I was. Um, I was a product of my environment in a sense, and that gave me my identity. And so there was a fear of letting that go. And so I had to let that go because there was something deeper in me that knew that I was more than what this is. And I just couldn't rest in it. I fulfilled all the labels, husband, going to church, having kids, finance, all of that. And it just never, ever settled. And throughout this journey for me, it was releasing all of those labels to find out who I really am. Who am I without the roles? Who am I without, your expectations? I don't want your expectations on me right now. When Brother Ford talked about the boundaries, when I set the boundaries, I was like, keep your expectation to yourself. I need to figure this out. I need to figure out what my own expectations for me are. Who am I? That was one of the most profound questions I've ever asked myself. And then I set on this journey of discovering who I was. And then the important part of that for me was that in the discovery, it led me to therapy. I started going to therapy. I went to counseling. I went to group counseling. I went to individual counseling. I needed a sense of accountability for myself because I wanted to get the things that, objects in the mirror are close, closer than they appear, or the, what's the side mirror, the blind spots. I needed to get the blind spots out the way, and I couldn't see them, because there's one thing that none of us on the screen, nobody watching this, none of us can see our backs. I don't know what my back looks like in real time, but I can ask somebody who's behind me. So I need help. I need someone else to help me, and so I tried to do it myself for a long time, but then I just feel like I reached this plateau. And then that's when I started getting help and trying to figure out, because Brother Shivery is talking about mental health. That's a very, very important piece in my life. I wouldn't be on this screen had I not gotten the help. I just want to put that out there. I wouldn't be here. I was that gone. And the fact that I was able to sit in front of someone and be able to learn vulnerability and to be able to do that and just say, look, this is who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what direction I'm going in. And technically, in man world, I'm not a man at that point. So, I was like, fine, you know what? Fine. I'm letting go of all of this so I can figure out who the heck I am. And that journey through counseling, through therapy, through just self introspection, I talk about the plant medicine journeys that I've done, and then just a desire. Like I wanted something different. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew it was there. So I'll stop there. I'll land the plane and let the next brother go.
I mean, it takes a strong man to ask for help. They used to have that running joke back in the day, men don't ask for directions. It's the same ideal. You guys have to get to that breaking point in order to say, I need help, because of these societal ideas that men aren't supposed to fold. They're not supposed to be weak. They're not supposed to show vulnerability. Or whatever idiot came up with that definitely did not know that, yes, you are a human, and that's part of the human experience, is to feel feelings. If we didn't have emotions, you'd be a cactus in the corner. If you didn't have feelings, how you wouldn't be who you are. And the healthiest thing that you can do is learn how to express those emotions. But how do men typically express emotions? Through rage, through aggression, through I mean, just having adult temper tantrums. They gotta hit something, they gotta throw something, and it stops you from actually doing the thing, and that is feeling it in your heart space and saying and tapping in and saying, what is it that I'm really feeling? So I want to ask, before I go to the next question, I just want to have my two late booties come in here and introduce themselves. See you up. Are you able to talk yet?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been up here trying to get everything, everything acting right, and then I had to go to my phone. I guess I got a little too fancy for TikTok. It didn't.
No worries, no worries. Welcome. I want you and Chris to introduce yourselves to the audience for those that are unaware of who you are.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start. So my name is Chauncy C Scott here on Instagram and TikTok, same across the board. I am a life coach, a purpose coach, helping people to become the best version of themselves by reminding them to live life on purpose. So and to go towards their purpose. So but yeah, I just help people mainly through social media posts to remember to live life on purpose.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Chris, come on in here, tell the people who you are.
I'm sorry that I'm late.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry that I'm late because initially you said 9, and then I'm like,
in the email I did, and then I corrected. Okay, so that's on me.
So I was waiting, and I checked my. I just happened to get on TikTok. I'm like, oh, she's live.
It's okay. You're here.
But I'm here. Excuse me. But my name is Chris. I am a 9-to-5er. I am an entrepreneur. Also a life coach, studying to be a 2-time life coach, and also a NLP practitioner, if you will, and that's a neuro linguistic programming that I'm studying right now. So, what else? I make T-shirts, hoodies, hats, cutting boards, and other stuff. So, I'm not all over the place. I'm looking for my brand, Speak What You Seek, to be a just a brand across the board, but everything that makes sense with helping people feel good. So, but that's it about me. I am accepting new clients, by the way, just to let anybody know out there, if you're looking for a life coach, I'm here along with the other fellows on here. Everybody doesn't fit with everybody. So, it's just, you got to find your right fit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, please, everybody, go follow each of these men. Each of these men have exceptional services to offer. They are here to help. If you know of yourself, or if you know a man that could benefit from any of their services, if anyone resonates with you while you're up here, please contact them. We're here to help each other grow. Let's move on to my next question. We were talking about emotions and men not being told in this society to express emotion. And Antonio, what emotion were you most uncomfortable feeling as a man, and why?
Let's see.
That's a good question.
That is a great question. Again, I mean, like you said, I think we just haven't, as men, been taught to express ourselves. So when it comes to emotion, I would tend to push it out the way and not use emotions to think, act, or feel. I would just go with a logical response. So I think the emotion I probably had to understand and grow more into is fear, because being scared, I didn't really see that growing up and couldn't really understand it. So seeing a snake, oh yeah, I'm scared of that. I don't want to get near that. Falling, hurting yourself, yeah, you scared of those certain types of things. But having like a real fear in life as a grown man is like, who is this? You got to brush it off your shoulder. You got to try to figure out like, is something wrong with me to understand what's actually happening. So for me, understanding the emotion of fear and how it makes me feel, makes me react to certain things and certain people, I had to, like, honestly, I had to take a step back. And like most people, I guess in the Black community would say, we don't need therapy. Black people don't need therapy. We just, drink a glass of water, talk to grandma, everything will be okay. I actually had to seek help because I was scared and I couldn't understand why I was scared. I didn't know why I was going through the certain things that I wanted to go through. And just being vulnerable enough to tell people I'm okay with it now today. Like, I went through depression and I wanted to die. And it scared me because I didn't understand why I was going through it, how I was going to get out of it. But in my mind, I thought I can get out of this. I didn't have that fatherly figure growing up. So I can get through this. I'm strong enough. I work out a lot. Let me use my muscles. But I wasn't using the muscle that I really needed, which was really my mind to say, just go get some help. You scared, you tired. This is a fearful time for you. And the only thing that you could really do is ask. So when I actually asked somebody for help, they took me back and told me everything that I needed to know, everything that I needed to do. And it allowed me to understand what fear really was. It was completely spiritual. And she took me to the moment, it's my life coach, but she took me to the moment of understanding why God had me in the place that I was in, why he put me in the position that I was in there. And it's not to hurt you, but to help you. So taking those steps back, reading those scriptures and understanding what fear really is, it's not meant to scare you, but it's meant to place you in the place that you need to be in and take you out of the position that you're doing. Because I was in the world, don't get me wrong. I was in the streets. Okay. I was outside, but I had to understand why was I doing the things that I was doing, talking to the people I was talking to, interacting the way that I was interacting. And it was just the fear of failure, repeating cycles, generational curses, and I didn't know how to break it. So she took me to a place where I had to understand how to break that.
That sounds pretty standard with the journey of healing. We go through very similar cycles. Everything is a la carte according to your experiences, but it sounds pretty standard. And until, once again, like Dom was saying, you get the help, you realize there's something going on with me, and it's so extreme to the point where I don't want to be here. When you get to that point, okay, I really don't want to do this, but I'm leaning in that direction, and there's a lot of people, as we know, that don't get the help, and they end up performing an act that they can't take back. And you said it was habits and patterns, right? So Chauncy, I would like to ask you, what was the hardest pattern or habit that you had to break on your journey of becoming the man that you are?
That's a good one. I had to take a step back and think about that for a second. The hardest pattern. Well, I would say, I'm gonna go, be pretty vulnerable and put it out there, and still working on it. I will say, still working on that, but I think it kind of lines up. I was going to say this, just really kind of thinking, thinking that you got it all under control, you know it all, and you can handle it all, just yourself, and just, hey, I could work it out, and to his point, it's like, hey, sometimes, so that habit of thinking I know it all, thinking I can handle it all, I could work it out, but sometimes you need somebody else to lean on. Sometimes you need that extra sounding, that somebody to sound, to go ahead and bounce those ideas off of, or somebody that's been down that road to talk to and have a conversation with, and just because I am the type of person that I will say, I'm the type of person that I'm going to check myself first before, I'm checking anybody else. I'm like, was it me? Was it, what have you? So, and, sometimes you think, okay, if you check yourself first, you can handle it. You got a good, grasp on it. But no, there is some things where, additional insight, some people that have either seen something differently, because, we're all raised different. We're all, come from different backgrounds. So a lot of times hearing it from, somebody else that, is maybe a licensed professional or just, has done something a little differently. Definitely has helped. So I would say, want to have it so break it through is this, and also just knowing that you don't have to handle it all yourself as well. So, thinking that I can handle it myself and knowing that I don't have to handle it. It's okay. Ask for help. It's okay to, to be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I think we do that. I do that a decent amount, I think, in general, but I think we don't do it enough. We don't do it as much as we should. And, obviously, I would say that's one of my habits is just, just thinking I can handle it and just work on it myself. So that's the answer I would say. Yeah.
I think that falls in line with a lot of us, it's also a control mindset, I'm guilty of it myself. So another reason for this live is to also show women they go through very similar processes. We probably get there differently because we're more tapped in to our emotions. So we it's okay for us to do it. But these are men who were never given permission to feel. And that's something that's happening now. They're actually allowing themselves and giving them their own selves permission to feel. Ford, did you want to speak on the emotion?
Yeah. I was sitting here thinking about it. And so my answer to that question was like all the emotions, because we're never taught how to deal. I mean, how many
You're still mute. You're still mute.
Sorry about that. I wasn't even able to sit in joy for a long time because it was uncomfortable because I wasn't used to it. And then I was also scared of the emotions that compounded, meaning if I'm scared, I'm going to get angry to protect myself. If I'm angry, I get scared because of what might happen if I don't control myself. Right. So it was for me, it was a combination of managing all the emotions, even the joyful emotions, and those types of things. And we're not really taught that. And I was really thinking about it. I've never been really taught on how to even to deal with those. So those were things I had to manage myself as I got older, but I struggled with all of them. Yeah. I struggled with all of them at some point in time.
That's really crazy that you hit that, because I remember I had a moment a couple months ago when I said, do we really know what joy feels like? Because collectively, we all have underlying fears that joy is going to get ripped away from us some kind of way. Everybody has their own story, but do we actually know what it feels like to be in joy? To actually know what it feels like and to not be afraid of it being taken away from us, not for it not to go away, and get blindsided. I don't know. And that definitely is worthy of a conversation, but to actually know what joy feels like. And I'm not talking about being in church doing praise dance. I'm talking about real embodiment of joy, being in a blissful state, being in a happy state, knowing that, other stuff is going to come. But do we really know what it feels like to be secure in your joy? That's a conversation for another day, but we'll put that on the side of the notes. Chris, I wanted to ask you, when we talk about men and challenges that you guys face, where do you think men sabotage themselves the most? I got y'all good with these questions. Yes, I was working on these.
You gotta give me some of that one too. I want some of that one.
I feel like we sabotage ourselves when it comes to honestly our thought process, because we're so, us as Black men, we have been conditioned to not feel, not talk, not be happy, always being a provider. So with those things that are already pretty much stamped in our thought process, we have to go above and beyond to figure out different things that we can do so we don't sabotage ourselves. And that is literally a everyday process, an every moment process that we don't have. Like, if we're not thinking about business, our family, our significant others, other things like that, that's the time that we have to take out to be like, all right, maybe possibly what did I do today that's going to change me for tomorrow? And I know a lot of us that's on the panel, we don't take time out for ourselves because of the titles that we have. And one thing is that if you ever look, if you haven't looked now, but when next time you go out, kind of if you can remember this, look at the men, the older couples, look at the man and look at the woman. And the reason why I say that is because 9 times out of 10, the man is slow walking. The man has a walker. He has a cane. And the wife or the girlfriend, she's vibrant. She's walking. She got her hair done. She's looking good. That is because of us, our work ethic, and what we were taught as young men growing up. We're taught you got to provide, you got to do this, you got to do that. So we wear ourselves down each and every day to make sure that our family is taken care of, to make sure our significant others are taken care of, our kids, and, shoot, other people that we may know that may call on us to help them out. So with that physical deterioration, if you will, that also messes with our mental at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I think that for us, it's always going to be a struggle some way, somehow, because as men, we're very prideful, and we want to make sure that the person that we're in a relationship with is taken care of, because that's who we are. We're just natural providers, whatever that looks like. If it's monetarily, if it's emotionally, if it's physically, like it goes down the line. And just for y'all women, y'all go through things that we don't go through. So for us to understand ourselves, we have to talk to each other more. If it's a text message, if it's a phone call, if it's just like something once a week to be like, hey, yo, you good, bro? Yeah, I'm good. What's up with you? Whatever it is. And I'm one of the guys that I met on here on my live, him and I exchanged numbers, and probably once a week, he'll hit me up and be like, hey, you good? And, we'll have a little text exchange or whatever. And we straight. I check on him. Hey, you good? Anything you want to talk about, so forth and so on. So for us, I think it's harder for men to connect with other men. I think it's easier for women to connect with y'all. Y'all could be out in the store and, y'all see another female. You be like, girl, no, them shoes, they look good on you.
Come on,
Exactly. So y'all have that type of camaraderie.
Yeah.
But for us, I can't walk up to Mr. Ford and be like, hey Ford, your shoes is popping, or I like your hoodie or something. And he might respond like, oh, all right, cool. And then we both go this way. He go this way, I go this way. And that's it.
Yeah.
But for y'all will sit there and have a whole conversation. Y'all go to the bathroom together. Y'all do all these things.
Yeah.
But for us, we don't have that. Because it's like if you try to connect with another dude, oh, you're you one of them, and it's like, no, like we need support just like anybody else, and it does not always have to be a female that we go to talk to, because y'all are not going to know the pain that we deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that's just like chivalry. It's just like C. Scott. At some point in time, we have all went through the same thing at different times, and we deal with it. We deal with those situations in different ways. But at the end of the day, our goal is to keep this right. Because I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be quiet. The woman species has a effect on men that is unmatched. And I say that because for whoever's married or whatever, if you have an argument with your wife in the morning time or the night before, that next day, that's all we think about is sitting there trying to figure out, okay, how do I remedy this? Then I got to deal with people at work. Then I got to deal with this person. So our mind is constantly flowing with trying to resolve certain things. And when it comes to women, y'all rulers. I mean, that's just what it is, because we carry a burden on us that y'all don't understand, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we have to try to figure out all of these different things at one time, like you said earlier, we process things in a different way than what y'all do.
Yeah.
We get quiet. We don't get quiet because we don't want to talk. We get quiet because we're on overload. And I think that's what a lot of women don't understand, is that when we get quiet, y'all want us to talk, but we process things differently than what y'all do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, a lot of times we come up with solutions faster because that's just how we're built. You guys, we problem solve in different ways. Ford and I were talking about this the other day, how, certain people just want to get straight to the fixing. And some people go through a different process. I think I'm more like a guy when it comes to that. It's like, no, let me get to it that way, because there's going to be another problem at some point down the line. It just depends on the person, but definitely men and women do process solution differently. They process pressure differently. They process, stress totally different. And you're accurate. Men carry a different kind of heavy, because it's not only this is what I got to do for my family, but I got a reputation to uphold. I got to make sure I'm viewed by the outside and the inside as the man, the one who's still holding it up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you guys are pressured with judgment everywhere you turn. And let's not even talk about the color of your skin. That's even heavier. So that's something that I hope a lot of women can understand as well. They are forever on. They can't be off. And they gotta wear that every day. And we can help. We got a load too, but they can't take their uniform off. they can't take their uniform off. It's just not possible, and if they go into hiding, that means they need to be away from everything and all things just to crumble. They don't need witnesses. They don't want anybody to witness it. They don't want to witness it, but they have to go into that space. And we have to allow them to have that as well. That's part of them processing. And if they're doing the inner work, that's part of their healing too. Just so you're educated on that. I want to move on to the process of awakening to the understanding of who you are now as a man versus when you were going through, let's say, the bulk of your awakening, your transformation into the man that you are now, if that makes sense. Where did Ford, I'm gonna go to you. Where did you still have to choose growth over comfort? Y'all mute, by the way.
I feel like I just had this conversation with Uncle Angelo. Where did I have to choose growth over comfort?
Or where do you still have to choose it?
I think I choose it. I actually choose it every day in every aspect of my life. I don't think there's a particular area that it's applicable to. And the reason I say that is because Number one, I'm seeking discomfort. I'm seeking the discomfort because I'm in that journey of continuing to heal, the healing journey. And I'm seeking the discomfort because the discomfort is showing me old versions of myself and old ways and old behaviors and old thought processes that I need to make sure that I get out of. Now we naturally fall into some of those old processes because it's what we know and it's comfortable. But kind of stepping back and realizing that those old thought processes and the way I used to move didn't yield the results that I wanted. Now it's time to really peel the layers of the onion back and ask myself why that is. So I feel like in every aspect of my life right now, I'm choosing the discomfort over what's familiar, because what's familiar hasn't yielded the success. And so if I'm talking about being a father, sometimes I have to. Actually, I'm pretty proud of how I've been as a father. Actually, let me put that one to the side. That's the one. That's the one I'll pat myself on the back on. But even I would say in relationships, I would say understanding that individuals that I choose to be around are oftentimes a reflection of something within me. It's uncomfortable because now I have to take ownership of that. So when things don't work out or people are moving a certain way, I gotta be like, ooh, okay, Ford, what is this individual? What was it in this individual that had me drawn to them? And how was it a part of me that was missing? Right? What was I seeking for them to replace something within myself that was missing? And that can be very uncomfortable because you have to actually admit that there's something missing. Because we all want to make sure we want to feel that we are right where we need to be and we're in the best version of ourselves. But the reality of it is, oftentimes we're not. We're really just trying to figure it out. And then I had to kind of give myself some grace within that realization to make sure that I could still stay motivated and not discouraged when I come across any of those things that may have been disappointments.
I love that. I love that. And I always say the people who you surround yourself with on a daily basis are always going to be a reflection of you. And you got to watch the company that you keep because that lets you know what direction you're going in. And if you hang around people that are stuck, you're going to be stuck. If you got people that are in their flow, you're going to be in your flow. And they're going to hold you accountable and inspire you to remain in your flow. That's a huge deal. I wanted to ask Antonio, also known as Chivalry down there for y'all that don't know. What, if any, responsibility? No, that's not the question I want to ask you. How do you know you work out, you do your thing, you are the motivational guy to go to? I know in your circle, I know amongst your people, you always keep people on point. How do you know when you are out of alignment, and what changes in your process, your actions? Like, what is your indicator? I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Um, I mean, honestly, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. Um, I'll get in a funk. I'll get in a rut. I'm up every morning, 4 a.m., hit the gym. It's the start of my day. It's how I process. I wake up, pray, get out, get active. And I think if I roll over at 6, my day gone. People will ask me like, 6? Like, what you mean? Like, this is early. What you talking about? No, for me, I have programmed myself. I started out as a firefighter when I was 18. And it just got to the point where I was getting up at 2, 3 a.m. every morning when I was at the station. So my body got to the point where it was like, okay, just get up. And I've always been in the gym. So I programmed myself to do that. And me and my brother, shout out to Gary, we just, this is just what we do. And if anybody knows I'm off balance, it's gonna be him. we talk every day, like every day. We ain't blood brothers, but you might well call us that. He'll look at me like, let's say if I'm working, I'm grinding, I got something to do, I got a goal, and he'd be like, okay, where you at? Man, I'm tired today. I'm just taking a nap real quick. Ho, what you mean? Like, where is my focus? Like you either focused on the wrong thing or something is wrong with you. So that's when I need that accountability to say, okay, all right, I'm doing this, that, and the third instead of focusing on what I really need to focus on. I'm doing other things. So he's the accountability that gets me in line and say, listen, bro, I know what you're doing. I know what you got going on. And it ain't no sugarcoating. What I mean ain't no sugarcoating is real, is raw, and is rugged. And the thing is, everybody needs that, but don't nobody want to hear with it. Don't nobody want to hear it because it's real. And you need that realness to get you realigned with the things that you got off alignment with. So I'll sit there, I'll be like, man, I thought we was brothers. But at the end of the day, he like, oh yeah, we brothers. But being real, you bullshit. It's like, stop playing. So I think having that accountability, understanding what accountability really is, because being in the mental health world, nobody wants to take account for their actions and the reactions that come after it. So it's like the generation we in today. A lot of kids today feel like, I can pop, or I can pop off my mouth or whatever, ain't nothing gonna happen. Okay, we'll find out shortly. But us as adults, same thing. We might want to do one thing and feel like, okay, just today, I'm going to just sleep in today. It ain't going to hurt me too much. But then tomorrow, you trying to figure out like, dang, I should have got up when I was supposed to. I could have got this, that, and the third done, cleared my whole list off. And now I got extra time for the rest of the week. So my routine of getting up at 4 a.m., I have to stick with it. Because if I don't, my whole day tore up.
Yeah. And that's great that you have the awareness of that and you're able to break that down. There are so many people and men, let's focus on y'all today, that don't have that and will allow things to just keep going by, especially when women say they want a man that's ambitious. They want a man that's driven. They want a man that's focused. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when they can be aware of when they're not on their A game, when they're not at their best. And then you have someone in your life that can help hold you accountable when you can't hold yourself accountable. We can't do it all by ourselves. As much as I try to, I'd be like, you know what? Let me cuss myself out real quick, because we're meant to do it together. And when we think we can do it alone, we are sadly mistaken and we will fall flat on our face every single time. She said, me too. Yes. Chauncy, I want to ask you, because you are one of the gentlemen that I know very much that's actually living in their spiritual purpose, in their divine purpose. And you know who you are on a cosmic level, and which I totally admire and understand in so many ways, as you know. Was there a responsibility that you had to avoid before you stepped into your purpose? Was there something that you just had to say, you know what, this has to be sacrificed because I have to get to this place that I'm being called to?
Oh, that's a good one. I would have to, and I would have to go back to what I think somebody was saying while I was trying to get all this situated is, the people pleasing. People pleasing was a huge thing for me, because when you're so I guess I would say when you're so concerned about what other people are saying and what other people think about you and what other people, and I still run into this to this day, people pleasing is, recovering people pleaser, but it's still, it's still there. And I have
Tired people pleaser. That's
yeah,
right.
I have to recheck myself and everything, but that can hinder a lot of what you do, because you're thinking about, okay, what is this person going to think? What is this person going to think? You're trying to sit back and you're trying to go ahead and navigate through, and you're just not the authentic version of yourself. You might be a real version of yourself, but you're not a fully authentic version of yourself, because you're living through the lens of what you think other people think about you, which might not even be what they think about you, but you're so worried about trying to get and trying to, navigate that. So yeah, I would say that definitely is one of the biggest things but I mean, and I would say, and here's the reason why I would say that also it is, something you got to sacrifice, because there's a level of comfort in that too, right? Because you're not just doing it just to do it. There's if I do this for this person, or if I say this to this person, everything's going to be, there's just a kind of calm, easy flowing river that you can run into. But at the same point in time, you're not going to push yourself any further. You're not going to, you're not going to, I guess, again, you're not going to be that that fully authentic version of yourself, by doing the people pleasing. But it is comfortable, and there's a reason why you came up with it for the first place, because you believe that for some reason, maybe when you're younger, that's how you felt like you got love, or for some reason, that's how you felt like, people like you better, or it helps you get into that sense of community, because we're all, as humans, communal folks. But yeah, I would say, you got to, step out of there, get out of the fear of what's going to happen, or who people are going to like you or not, if they're not going to like you or what have you, and just be fully authentic, and then also I will say, and I'll say this, and then I'll leave it. There is the other thing that happens is, when you step out of that people pleasing role, then you have to figure out, who are you really? Because for the longest time, you've been this person for this person for that person, and you've shaped and molded your personality based on, what other people like, do, and say, and how they react to you. But then once you can go ahead and jump into who you really are 100% authentically, then I think you could start growing from there, because then you could really truly tap into your soul. Because then you can really ask questions of yourself, versus, trying to, really, it's a form of manipulation to go ahead and get people to like you. But instead of trying to, manipulate your way into people liking you, then you could trying to ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do to get this person, to like me, or what do I need to do to get this person to, to be cool with me? You can just ask yourself, hey, what do I want to do? How do I feel in this moment? You start asking yourself those questions for you, and it starts to, things start to change. But yeah, I would definitely say people pleasing is comfortable, but also, yeah, it's not the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm playing my plane. There we go.
I love it. I love it. Chris, I want to talk to you about the relationships that you've had in the past, because something that I always talk about is how our relationships mold us into the version of us that we are now. And you are a person that I've witnessed that continuously chooses to grow. You choose it. You want to become better. You want to do better. And what relationships what relationships after those experiences shifted once you stopped betraying yourself? It's like, once you realize, I'm doing too much here, or I didn't get this over here, or I want to be seen differently here. How did your friendships, your family ships, your parent ships, how did that change for you? Did they strengthen? Did they shift in any kind of way?
That's a fully loaded question.
It is.
That's a question where I don't have enough time to do that, so I'm gonna shorten it. Wow. To be transparent with myself and everybody else, more so with myself, I still struggle at times. I still struggle at times with making sure that I make the right decision. Because as C. Scott said, being a people pleaser. Also with learning myself, because the relationship with my son has strengthened me in different ways and has put a weight on my back that does not feel like a weight. It just feels like, hey, you gotta focus. You have this individual that you are responsible for, no matter what age he is. And that and for a period of time we weren't on the same page. And that really it hurt. And it hurt me in a way where I had to learn. And at that time, I had flashbacks of certain conversations that I had with myself, certain interactions that he and I had. When he was younger, my patience with him was just, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's 14, dealing with his autism, which is his superpowers to me, it has really shown me that I have to pay attention more, that I have to listen, that I have to really pay attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do that, I literally catch myself and I'm like, Chris, you can't say that. Chris, you cannot do that. And when I do that, that helps me out to in other aspects of my life, whether it's work, whether it's a personal relationship. That right there allows me to stay here instead of being here, and here. I'm here, so I'm really like zoned in on a conversation.
Mm.
And being a dad is the most proud part of my life for me right now. Other relationships, personal relationships, I've made bad decisions. I wasn't present, and I made certain decisions that made me look like I was weak, that I was desperate. And in all actuality, I know I'm not. I know what type of person I am. I'm still growing. I still want to grow. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect because I want to continue to achieve certain goals, whether that's, personal, relationship, business, family, all of that. So like, me being honest with myself, I think is the biggest flex, if you will, for myself. Because the more honest I am with myself and not people pleasing, I feel better. It literally feels like a weight is off my back where I don't I don't feel stagnant. I don't feel like I am just existing, because I know a lot of times we just exist. We don't live. We don't have fun. We don't find the joy in life anymore. And I feel like if you don't find the joy in your life anymore, you're pretty much you're out of here.
Yeah.
Like it's plain and simple. And we don't, as not even as men, just as people in general, we have to find a balance. And that shit is hard to find a balance. It's hard. And we just have a whole bunch of stuff to deal with, being brown, light brown, dark brown people. We got a lot of shit to deal with. And for us to be happy, honestly, I feel like it doesn't take a lot for us to be happy. If we find that one thing that makes us happy and we continuously do that, we're fine. And this last thing, this gentleman, a billionaire PA that I follow on Instagram, he once said that for us, we should celebrate our birth date every month. So, if your birthday is like August 13th or something, on the 13th of every month, celebrate yourself, do something for yourself, because we never do anything for ourselves, especially if you're a parent. You never do anything if your child is physically next to you, or you're actively in your child's life, but not in the same household. Like, we have to celebrate ourselves at least once a month. If that's going out to dinner, if that's like chivalry, he goes to the gym. If that's for him, if that's taking a day off from the gym or something, or going heavier with the weights or something. But we have to celebrate ourselves. And I feel like the more we celebrate ourselves, the more that we can find out who we are, minus the titles that we have: mother, daughter, father, brother, sister, uncle, aunt. Who are we without our titles? If we strip our titles, who are we as an individual? And I say that to people all the time. And just like everybody has a title at work, whether it's a CEO, a CFO, an employee, a firefighter, a cop. Once you take that uniform off, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm sorry, they got me doing a little puzzle piece. I say that all the time. I did a post about that before. I think I did a live about that too. It's about identity. Who do you identify as, and who are you really? Because I know on last week's live, it was about conscious parenting, and Alyssa Michelle, we talked about how becoming a mother, becoming a parent, especially we were in our early 20s when we both did, it actually gave us our first identity. So it's like we got labeled mom, and now later on in life, we're figuring out just who we are outside of that label. And if you've gotten married, who are you? Oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I mean, no. Who is the person? Who is the man? Who is the woman without those titles? And Chris, you're absolutely right. Celebrating yourself, doing things that you love to do. That, I always say, is the only path to reaching your highest frequency. It's filling yourself up with the things that bring you happiness, that things that bring you joy, doing things to celebrate yourself. And if you're not doing that, you can't expect anybody else to do it, especially if you're with a partner who doesn't celebrate you, who doesn't acknowledge you, who does not compliment you. You have to do those things for yourself. And then guess what? Others will start to do it for you or with you, better yet. And I think that's a dope thing for you to also continue to extend to people and let them know. Celebrate your birthday once a month. That's like, oh, I'm 40 in 3 months. I'm 40 in 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself that. Like, not even joking. Tomorrow's my birthday, but I also celebrate my half birthday in August. So I have a winter birthday and a summer birthday. So it's just a matter of that. That's kind of like my way of saying, okay, this halfway mark, but I think that is very ingenious to do, especially for men, because of the pressure and the weights that you do carry. You got to celebrate yourself. My late father was a prime example of someone who wanted to celebrate everybody else and do for everybody else and give very little to himself, and we went overboard giving him at Father's Day and birthday and just because day. We went overboard because we were aware and could recognize just how much he was giving to everybody and giving very little to himself. Everybody's not that lucky to have a family that's observant to that. And then they wonder why dad's over in the corner shriveled up, and going a little nutty, So, and that leads me to the next portion. Ladies, put your antennas up. Because now I'm going to ask questions on how the women, the divine, the feminine, can contribute to the continuation of you guys' growth and expansion and becoming. Because we hear, once again, a whole lot of conversations about how men and women are the contrast of one another. Yes, but the bumping of heads, we need to now get into this natural flow, because I made this joke a while ago. It's like that book, Men are from Mars, Women are from Venus. And I said, okay, but we're on Earth. So what are we doing? We got to meet somewhere in the middle. We got to figure this out together, because the time is over for us being divided. The time for us is now healing and aligning so that we can continue to ascend, to keep growing, to becoming more. Because once upon a time in the ancient times, the man and the woman was sitting right here, neck and neck. They was right there running things together, ruling together. They were partners. And now we have this system that has trained us to be at odds with one another. And it's definitely not healthy. And if you really pay attention, people who are in healthy relationships live a lot longer than people who are in miserable relationships, unless that's just their karma and they just got to live a long time. But I want to ask you, Mr. Ford, what does healthy feminine energy activate within you? What does it bring out of you?
I knew you was coming to me for this question.
Yeah, it's your turn.
What does healthy feminine energy activate within me?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really, really good question. And give me a second to think on that one.
That's my little question.
I would say it activates everything within my entire being that is for the greater good of who I am as a man. So if I know that I'm lacking in something, it motivates me to get better at that. If I need to do something a little bit different, it motivates me to figure out what that is. Right? I cannot explain how impactful it is to have healthy energy supporting you as a man, feminine energy supporting you as a man. We see all the unhealthy, like, because that's what society shows us. What I don't think the women that I've encountered, at least most of them, understand that if you want someone to be we're constantly out there looking for something, right? And sometimes it's right in front of us. We just got to spend a little time pouring into it and showing up in a way that inspires that out of an individual. So for me, it just inspires me to be a greater version of myself, the perfect version of myself for everybody. Like, the cool thing about it is when I receive that, it literally inspires me to be good, not back just to them first and foremost, but to everybody around me, right? And now we literally are sitting back into this reciprocal energy that's going to come back to us tenfold, because I am now a better version of myself, and I'm pouring into this woman, I'm pouring into the people around me, and that reciprocity is coming back. And so it creates like this, I would say, a bubble of bliss, to where you're just being. And it's no longer a thought. For me, it's no longer a thought process now. Now I'm just reacting. And
Yeah.
and when you get to the point, and if you've done the work and you're practicing, if you are practicing and you're doing the work, when you get in the right situation, it's just reaction. Boom, oh, I got this. I got that. Don't worry about it. I got this. I got that. This is what we need to do. And more importantly, I need some help. And I'm not afraid to ask that person for that help, because I'm not feeling judged. I'm not feeling like it's going to be weaponized against me later if I have a moment of, vulnerability, and it builds more confidence, right? And there's nothing more attractive than confidence. And that's just what it does for me. I'll end there.
Yeah, for women too. I mean, especially men always say a confident woman is attractive. It's for us too, which, we contribute to that in so many ways when it comes to partnership. It's like you don't want to tear them down, especially when they're down. Build them back up authentically, not just gas them up, just build them back up, and that's our superpower, in the dynamic. We have the ability to do that, and we also need that as well. So like you said, it's just a natural reaction, especially when you've done the work. If you're in a space, I've talked about this a million times, if you're in a space with other people and it's combat, that's a reflection. You're still combating things within yourself. So you don't need to be in that space until you get it together. We're too busy out here looking for relationships and trying to hook up with people and all this other stuff, but you haven't done the work with yourself. And then you wonder why it didn't work out. You wondering why you guys always argue or you're at odds. You haven't done the work with yourself. You will align, you will attract, you will become a flow with another person when you've done the work within yourself. Not saying that it's going to be completely flawless, because there's still growth that takes place thereafter. But if you want a healed man, you got to become a healed woman. Period.
But to that point, though, what it also does for me is it allows me to be open to the feedback. Right. To your point, we're not going back and forth in maybe some adversity that hits the relationship or the marriage, whatever you're in. You're actually now you're open to that feedback, and they're more comfortable providing it because they don't feel like they're gonna get knocked over the head because they told you, hey, baby, I need you to get right here. No, I need that information. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my boy Uncle Angelo. I think he's in there. When I think about him and his wife, that's what I see. Hey, you're gonna get this work a little bit, but I understand it. And although it may not feel comfortable at times, guess what? Because of what you were providing for me, I'm 100% okay with you telling me that. And when you talk about somebody that's in love, that's what it is. That's what I see.
It's good to have those examples because, I say this all the time. Everybody doesn't know what healthy dynamics look like. Everybody doesn't have an example to go by. And I always tell people, if you missed it, I don't know where you were, but you need to go back and watch The Cosby Show. Because that was our first example in the 80s. And I mean, we had other shows and stuff like that. But to me, they were the cleanest ones. They were, the kids were crazy. But the two of them always figured it out together, and they respected each other. They had partnership.
The best relationship that we have ever seen are the Huxtables, for the adult part. But for like our age bracket, they're going a different world with Dwayne and Whitley.
Exactly.
That was it right there.
And that was two people who grew up together. They started out rough. And then they aligned and figured it out from there. We have certain examples, and we don't really have excuses besides the one that we keep repeating and telling ourselves. Yeah, the Obamas too, but they came after. They came after. Yes. We have a lot, but at the end of the day, if you don't know what it looks like, you have no excuse. I don't know where you were on Thursday nights, all through the 80s and the early 90s. I don't know where you were, but that was it right there. Antonio, what does safety look like for you as a man in partnership?
Oh.
Don't roll your eyes at me.
Okay, so, I'll give it to you two ways. First one, I've never experienced it. Let's just say that. Second part is going to be complete vulnerability. I can cry, snot, blood, whatever coming out my nose. It's to the point where I'm not afraid of you. I don't have to fear rejection from you. I don't have to worry about how you'll feel or how you'll treat me after I say something. Babe, need to holler at you real quick. I just lost my job. damn, what we gonna do? We got big. That's not what I want. I want the safety to come home and know, all right, bet. Tomorrow, tonight, relax, chill, get you a beer, dinner done. I'm gonna rub your feet. Tomorrow, we back at it.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I need that safety from you to know, like, hey, I got a goat that I don't have to worry about anything because you got my back the same way I got yours. It's called for better or worse. It's gonna be some good times and some bad times. But you gotta understand that being safe with whoever you with in his life, I always tell people I need to see you in 5 dynamics in life: mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. I always leave finances at the bottom because, that comes at the end. But those are the 5 dynamics that I need to see you in, because when I'm walking this walk in life with you, physically, yes, I need to make sure that we always on point physically, because this body get old. We both got to keep up with each other, stay focused and stay fit. Mentally, I need to make sure we're in alignment. Like, I gotta understand, if you at 10 today, I'm gonna make sure I'm at 90. If you at 90, I'm 10. But we coming together. Spiritually, we got to pray, talk, read Bible. We got to do everything that we need to do. And emotionally, which is something that a lot of people don't understand today, when it comes to emotions, well, a lot of people throw the term emotionally available or emotionally intelligent. Anybody can be that. But what are you doing with that intelligence that you have with your emotions? Today, of course, most men, we don't use our emotions. So, for example, if a woman ever says, do you like me? Sure. That don't mean nothing to a man, really. Men don't need feelings to like you. We're looking at certain things that you're doing to us and for us. So therefore, when it comes down to, does a woman like me? Y'all need feelings to like us. Y'all need, not all women, but most women, y'all need to feel something in order to give us certain types of access to y'all. So therefore, when it comes to that man having that safety, oh baby girl, I'm gonna throw that lasso up there and get the moon and pull it down for you. Okay, that's when I'm safe. I don't got nothing to worry about. When I walk in a room, everybody staring at me. They're like, "Oh, he got her, and she got him." So it's nothing that they got to worry. It's nothing you got to ever worry about. It's nothing that I ever have to worry about. Because for me, I never learned growing up, but I learned from, people might say it's crazy, but to me, movies and TV. How I treat a woman today, I learned through movies and TV. My dad wasn't really there. Stepdad didn't really do much. So I learned from Whitley and Dwayne. I learned from the Cosbys. I learned from other movies. So when you walk in, you don't ever let the woman stand on the side of the street. You don't never let. I teach my daughter. I got a daughter, 15 years old. Okay, if a man ever let you touch that door, that'd be the last date. You better not never touch a door. Okay, it's cool sometimes, but I'm just saying. But you gotta understand, baby girl, when I'm safe with you, we ain't got never nothing to ever worry about. That's it. That's it.
That's it. That's it. And when that safety is incorporated within the dynamic, when you can sleep soundly, when you just your heart rate is different. It slows down. It's just nice. It's just nice. You don't have, there's enough stress in the world. We don't have to have stress at home too. Why should we have stress at home? If you, like I said, if you got that kind of dynamic going on, that is not the relationship you need to be on. That's not the ship you need to be sailing on at all. It's not healthy. Longevity comes from being in healthy spaces. And once again, if you don't know what that looks like, I'm gonna need you to go watch season 1 all the way up to 1992, The Cosby Show. Okay?
And I mean, people also gotta understand it takes time. Nobody wants to take that time today. Like the first argument, disagreement, we get it up. You ain't the one for me. I'm going to the next. Sit your ass down and let's just deal with this right here in this moment and figure out if we are or we are not compatible. You ain't gonna get it in a week or in a month. It takes time.
It takes time. It takes that healthy communication.
Can I piggyback off of what Chivalry said?
Absolutely.
He spoke about seeing his significant other in different situations and supporting them and stuff like that. But I just want to add two things to that. Well, one thing is two things. I need to see you in each season of your life. I need to see you when you happy. I need to see you when you pissed off. I need to see you when you just, you real monotone. I need to see all of that, because if I can't see you in your worst and I still be like, damn, like my baby, she just handled the shit out of that. If I can't do that, we 9 times out of 10 we can't be together. And that's for me too. Like, I want you to see me handle certain situations. I want to be able to tell you certain situation like, hey, I need to talk to you. I did A, B, C, and D. Did I do something wrong in that situation? But shit, I already done it. But I need you to see me in different stages of my life, in different stages of my day, so you know how to deal with me if we become that couple where, you're like Antonio said, hey, if you on a 9 a day, you at 10%, I got to bring the other 90. Because back in the day, we already know, 50-50. No, that shit don't work. Like, if I'm not going to be at 100% all the time, I need to know that you're going to bring me up. Or even if you don't bring me up, you leave me where I'm at, but then you help me get back up. As men, we don't always want to be helped straight up. It's levels to how we deal with things. And if we don't go through those levels, honestly, at the end of the day, we're going to be messed up. And then we're going to be back. We're going to be below where we started at. If we don't catch everything that we need on the way back up, it's not going to be a good outcome. So, and that's one thing that I feel like women have to, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to say adjust. Take the time, if you will, to see what levels or what we need to get back up to that point where we want to be at, versus we just go from here up to here. Yeah. You got to take that time. Like Antonio said, timing is everything, regardless of what it is. My therapist told me, I'll never forget this. She said, before you respond, take at least 3 to 5 seconds out before you respond. If you do that, you'll be able to articulate what you want to say, how you want to say it. But more, it's just about how you say shit. That's just it. It's just how you say it. And I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to be quiet. For us men, y'all women can say certain things to us that it will not bother us. It's just how you present it to us. You can call us, you a bastard or whatever like that. Right. But I'm just saying, some women are out there that like that. But there's a difference between being angry and saying it with love. If you say it with love, that's just like Spanish women. I don't know what y'all say. You could cuss me out and say anything and everything you want to. It sounds so beautiful. But when it comes to black women, it's the same. Y'all can say certain things to us that we will take and hold on to, and then other stuff we'll just grab it. Oh, I don't need that. Whatever, and throw it. So it's just learning us and learning how we get back to that higher level. That's it. I'm being quiet.
That's so crazy because the question I was going to ask you, and you pretty much answered it. What do you need from the feminine in order to stay at your highest integrity? Like you said, what it is that you need to keep up. That was going to be your question.
Like I said, it's just levels to it. And if the women understand how to take their time with us, because women, I've learned that y'all can go from here to here, have everything in between when you get to here. For men, sometimes we need things in doses. We can't really deal with a lot of things because we're already dealing with stuff just like y'all are. However, it's just a different type of understanding to have, even if it's here and you just go right there. Handle me with care, water me as needed. I don't need to be watered every day. I'm like a money plant in a snake plant. You ain't got to water me every day, but when I need my water, please water me with care. Good night.
I love that. I mean, ladies, he's telling you exactly. We hear these conversations all the time, but these are men who are actually on their journey, and this is how they need you to participate on the journey as well. Chauncy, you have done a lot of inner work, inner growth. You are the embodiment of a healed and healing man, masculine, divine masculine. Tell me, how has the feminine shaped your growth and not just supported it?
Woo. All right. Let's go ahead.
You welcome.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for that. Shape my growth. So, I would say, trying to figure out how to the best way to say this, but like, I would say a lot of the spark of the growth has come from started with therapy, going through therapy, learning myself, realizing maybe codependent, tendencies, people please, and all that good kind of stuff, right? So I would say, but I would say that it was shaped because it took some bad relationships to get there. So it had a relationship that was like, all right, this is cool. And then, that ended, and I'm like, you know what? Probably need to go ahead and get some therapy and try to figure out, what's going on here. Wasn't a bad ending or what have you. And then ran into one that was bad. And I was like, I am most definitely going to go get some therapy right now. Let me call up who I can call up. Let me see who I need to talk to, because why am I attracting that? How did I get to here? And why is this a thing? So that right there, it took, because I really think that if everybody's a reflection point for you, right? You're going to see a lot of the things that you need to heal within yourself from, other people, and nobody's closer to you than that relationship or that person that when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're spending the most time with them. You're having the most communication with them. You're thinking about them all the time. So, your whole lives are intertwined, because of, being in a relationship. Now, when something like that happens, and, when you're in a relationship and you're seeing some nasty stuff reflected back to you, you're seeing some stuff happening, you're like, yeah, I need to figure this out. And I need to know why this is coming out. Why am I attracting this? I don't think that I am anybody that would, and sometimes it all starts off really nice, really sweet, but then it could change really quickly. And like, no, yeah, I didn't see that coming, but also I know that I'm not the type of person that, number one would put up with that, but number two, like that actually would do that to somebody else. So where is this coming from? You know, where am I, where am I lacking, or what am I not shoring up myself? So I would say, yeah, other relationships definitely were what actually shaped it. And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the easiest way to go there. I mean, because, you know, I will say, like, on a, you know, spiritual journey, healing journey, that kind of all that started, you know, before these relationships. But then you get stagnant, right? You're like, all right, cool. And, you know, but also I will say, you can't there's only a certain amount of healing that you can do on your own until you're in, you know, a relationship with somebody, and then you can heal a little bit more because you've got, I guess you could say, you know, you've got that person to you know, bounce things off of, to bounce ideas off of, or to see what they're, like, again, what they're going to reflect back to you. But yeah, I think you know, it took that spark to, like, to take it to that next level. And then, you know, and it's still, I think, to this day, there's still things that happen that, you know, it's like, it just in life in general. But there's those you know, if you looking in tarot, like those tower moments, those moments that are going to just kind of pull everything up under your rug, or make you think, oh, well, you know, I thought I was good, but I'm not. So yeah, there are those moments that are going to come around. But I would say that was the defining part, and that kind of led me to, yep, I'm no longer people pleasing. I'm going to say, like, from that, it was like, I'm no longer people pleasing. I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm going to listen to my intuition. So there's a whole list of things I was like, okay, yep, got to fix this up, like, right now. None of this, you know, just, you know, journaling about it left and right. Now it's like, okay, yeah, let's put this into action. So yeah, I would say that.
I love that. I think that goes across the board for all of us, because we have to go through the contrast of what we don't want in order to figure out, and for that light to be shined down as to what it is we do want.
Yeah.
And, you know, people are constantly on that cycle and getting, you know, when they say, oh, you keep dating the same person just with a different face, that means you're not getting off that hamster wheel. Sometimes you need to stop, get off, don't get no water and get back on, but stop and really realize, I'm not getting anywhere. This is the same activity. It's not them, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. So once again, another man that's going to get some help because he can't figure it out on his own. He's not tapped in to the point where his God is speaking to him and saying, okay, well, this is what you need to do. That doesn't happen for the average person, per se, to be guided properly into their healing. Sometimes we do need other outside sources to tell us where we're screwing up. Okay, it doesn't mean, because everybody's not going to be able to hear your experience the way a professional will hear it. Because you can go to your best friend, you can go to your auntie, you can go to your cousin or whomever and say this is going on, but it's still a biased opinion. You need people who can hear you, who can really break it down what it is that you're experiencing and give you honest feedback. That's what people are missing. You need to be open to feedback, especially when you open your wallet and you pay somebody. You're going to be open to the feedback that they're giving you and telling you the honest truth. You keep picking these people because it could be any type of the emotional wounds, rejection, abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, anything that scarred you in your life experience is a reflection of the people who you choose to interact with in dating, relationships, friendships, whatever. And I think it's one of the healthiest things that you can do is really just have relationship with yourself before you even attempt. And I say it all the time. We are the only permanent relationship we will ever have. And if you don't take care of that first before you start inviting other people in with opinions and energy and all that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not taking care of you. Absolutely.
And this is for including you too, Dawn, but everybody on the panel. As men, you know, we don't go to therapy, but it seems like everybody on this panel does go to therapy or has been to therapy. Do any of you guys and Dawn think that a licensed therapist is the only person that can help you achieve personal growth?
No, I mean, personally, I would say no. They're not the only person. I think you just need. I think personally, what you need is somebody that has tools that you don't have, or that you may not be aware of. That has some life experience, and most likely has gone through. I guess the best person to help you out is a lot of times is the people that's further down the road than you are. They've been there and like, oh, yep, okay, I see exactly where you're going through with that, and they're just further down the road. That's what I would say.
I agree with that because I mean it's not. I mean, going to school and becoming a therapist, like seeing and talking to so many types of therapists, I think it was just a matter of I had the idea like, oh, a therapist is the only person that's gonna help you fix your own problems. But it's like you just said, it's just so many people in life that have walked in your shoes already and understand what you're going through. It can tell you, you know, how to navigate, how to do things differently. And it's more so about just the understanding of what we are doing in this life and knowing that I can talk to my best friend, I can talk to my mama, I can talk to a therapist, I can talk to a life coach. It's who works for you. Because, I mean, be honest with you, when I first started therapy, that therapist didn't fit. It was, I'm thinking as a black man, I need a black person. White man was the best person I ever talked to. I was, you know, bamboozled. I was like, what's going on? But he taught me something that I had to look outside of myself, my skin color, and how I grew up to understand that other people can help you no matter what dynamic or background they come from.
Okay, I like that. I mean, I was just asking. I wasn't. You know, it was just a question because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, I got to go to therapy. I got to go to a therapist. I got to get a black therapist to help me because you know we're the same, if you will, color wise. That they're going to understand and know how to help me out through my through my trials and tribulations. But that's all I wanted to know. But I do want to hear from Mr. Ford though.
Yeah, I think we need to go to where we're going to be provided the correct information, right? And so I think what's good is very first step is probably somebody licensed to be able to help you talk to those things. And obviously, you need to find out, match yourself with the correct individual. But listen, the work doesn't end there, right? So if you've surrounded yourself with a group of brothers or you got some people that are that you trust, then as we step out of those and we step back into our lives, we stepped out of that place of therapy and we go back into our lives, and then we're able to kind of talk through some of the things that we learned about ourselves with the people that know us the most and care about us the most. Then we give them the tools and the opportunity to also help provide us and keep us on that path to healing and getting better. So I don't feel like it just ends at therapy. I feel like there's the therapy is maybe the test, and then dealing with, there's a practical application of what we've learned, right? And the only people that can give us that feedback are the people that are around us on a daily basis. And if they know what we're working through, then they can provide us that feedback. But you can't have enablers. You got to have people that are going to give you the raw data. And that's where it can be the gray. It gets a little bit gray, because if you have enablers, they will still allow you to do those unhealthy behaviors and even stay in that unhealthy mindset. And you're thinking, okay, I'm good. And then you go back and you wonder why you're in therapy and you're still talking about the same thing 3 months from now, because you haven't moved past it, because you've had people that are enabling you to do the very things that you were trying to not do, and learn how not to do that. And so accountability is huge. And that's why it's always good to have for us men, it's always good to have some solid brothers around that are going to hold us accountable for what we're working on.
And I'm sorry doing it. I'm not going to say nothing else.
You did, no. This is what this is for.
But Mr. Ford, I was going to ask you, when you spoke about the people that love you, do you feel like the people that love you are going to give you that raw, uncut information that you need, but you further, what you were saying answered that question? So
yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I'm only going to share my journey with the people that are going to give me that. I know who's like, I get it. Like come on, we know who to go to. We know who not to go to. We 100% do. We can act like we don't. Sometimes it's good to act like we don't because we want to be a little bit ignorant. Sometimes that's just kind of the nature because it's easier to kind of fall back in old patterns. But still got to get back to work on yourself. And those real individuals, even if you haven't gone to them yet, they'll come to you like, "Hey, bro, come on, reel it in. I see you over there playing. I see you over there playing in the mud. Let's get you cleaned off and get back onto this journey. And that accountability, you can actually go back and laugh about because there's trust there and there's love there, and it's delivered with trust and love, and that's what it's about.
I will actually publicly make my very first confession of this. And I want to preface it by saying that I am self-proclaimed black sheep of the family, the generational curse breaker. I was a single mother by the time I was 3 months pregnant. I have never been in a healthy relationship. I am a domestic violence survivor, and I've never been to therapy. Therapy found me in so many ways. So I'm not going to say you have to go sit down on somebody's couch and spill out your whole everything. My healing came through wanting to just fix me, period. Okay? My healing came from aligning with certain individuals who naturally helped me work through all of these things. My biggest issue with finding a therapist is I needed someone who could understand me spiritually. If I sat on a regular couch, now here's the thing, my sister is a clinical psychologist. She got 2 master's degrees. If I sit and were to talk to someone like her, she'd tell me I was nuts. And the things that I was experiencing spiritually weren't happening, but they were happening. And the more that I've become this version of myself, the more I've found other individuals such as Chauncy who have gone through these spiritual awakenings like me. Also, King Dom, he'll be back, who've gone through these things, and we've compared notes. So people would have told me very early that something's wrong with me. Something's, all of these experiences weren't what I was experiencing. But yes, they were. They were happening for me. And had they told me that, I might not be the woman that I am now. I might not be the embodiment of the version of myself that I am now. I'm in a space through my own coaching, through my own education, through my own personal healing, the things that I've done, it'll be in my book. But I would never tell anyone that they have to go to therapy. I would tell them, find the path that works best for them. If you're hitting square one, if you're starting at home base, yeah, go talk to somebody who you can relate to, who hears you. Because a lot of these people are textbook aware. They're not consciously aware of what you're going through. So whatever works for you works for you. Some people, they feel like tapping into their religion helps them. Some people tap, like myself, into their spirituality and get guided in those kinds of ways. Some people need counseling that they still going to. There's some people going to therapy for 30 years. You still ain't figured it out. So your path is always going to be your path. Community is a big deal. These gentlemen have talked about brotherhoods and chat groups and checking in on everybody. You guys have to have that as well. We got girl groups. We got, girls' day brunch and all that stuff. Ford plays golf. Antonio goes to the gym. You have to find that thing that works for you, and you will align with other people and connect. But once again, be mindful of who you're connecting with. Be mindful of who you're connecting with, because that'll tell you exactly who you are. I want to start closing this out, but I have just a couple final questions I have for the group. And this is pertaining to the future of men who are healing, who are becoming, and who are embodying true masculinity, true healed masculinity. And I'll start with you, Ford. What does the heal, especially being the father of a young man, what does the healed generation of men actually look like to you? Not ideally, but realistically.
Man, you spent some time on these questions.
I did a month.
Shivery, I'm telling you, everybody got taking some extra air every time you ask a new question. Um, I think ideally it looks like individuals that are consistently vibrating at a level of understanding and trying to be better. And also a fairly high level of emotional intelligence, meaning being able to process information instead of having the knee-jerk reactions in responding to people in a way that actually is off-putting. And that happens in relationships, it happens at work, it happens with our children. Being able to self-regulate in those moments to be able to be a more effective communicator. I think women need to understand that as you start dealing with a man that is of high emotional intelligence, a man that is responsible and more confident and healed, some of the stuff that as a single man that I see out in the streets, that ain't gonna cut it, sis. It's not gonna cut it. It's going to require a better version of yourself to be able to get the better version of a man. Right? So when individuals put themselves in the spaces to be able to heal, there's time and effort and energy that's in that. And there's also a level of confidence and a level of self-respect that comes along in that process, because you know what? I put the work in. What I look like allowing somebody to come over here half-assing when I put this work in to be 100, right? So understand that as we get better, y'all got to get better. And as y'all got to get better, we got to get better. Right. So there's reciprocity in that. And if we're hitting on all cylinders, we are actually inspiring each other to do that. So it's a series of checks and balances and ebbs and flows of growth between men and women that will allow us to be able to kind of connect and start vibrating at a more healthy level and start kind of getting rid of those generational curses and some of the stuff that we've learned. Can't blame our parents, but some of the things that we've learned from them based on their path. We ain't that far removed, y'all. We're not that far. My father grew up in the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? So we're not that far removed, and it's still embedded in our DNA and who we are. So we got some generations, but it really starts right here to really just starting having healthy conversations and understanding what healthy relationships are and how they impact. And I think when we do that, we'll see a lot more conversations like these, and hopefully more conversations where people are just talking about what we're going to do to fix things, as opposed to yelling at each other about why they hurt each other. I'll land down.
I agree. And it's like you said, we're not far removed from the, I'm going to say this, the conditioning. I wanted to say a different word, but the conditioning that has been, and I shared this with you the other day. It was only one generation ago that women or families that needed assistance had the no husband in the household in order to get government assistance. So that's a split. That's a tear. Couple generations before that, we have, we've gone through the whole slavery, mentality. And we try every time, it just seems like every time we try to blend it back together, something rips us apart. Something keeps ripping us apart. And it's like, now we're in that space of, let's bring it back together. Let's bring it home. But this time, let's make it stick. Let's make it stick. And I think now that we're not so much on a mental level, let's do it from a spiritual from a real healthy emotional level. We've never dealt with in this country healthy emotional dynamics. We've never dealt with that. So it's like we are doing that work of sharing and caring and loving and giving and receiving and all those things. And it's like now we have an opportunity, because once we reach that, there's nothing that they can't take that away. You can't rip that apart, especially when we find wholeness within ourselves as individuals. And then we start merging together and creating bigger community and creating more examples outside of the Cosby Show, of what healthy dynamics actually look like for our children and our grandchildren. Because what does Gen X primarily say? I want that relationship like grandma and grandpa had. Well, that was surface level you were watching. You didn't see behind the scenes when grandma and grandpa were disconnected because they've been married 50 years and they got together when they were 16 and now they can't stand each other, but they keep up appearances for the family. We're not keeping up appearances anymore. We're actually going to live in our authentic truth as units, as partners, as family, because we're gonna continue to do the work of healing all of those generational patterns. I never like to say generational curses, but generational patterns that came before us. That's what I'm excited about. We're doing it. I don't want to say, oh, it's got to happen. Oh, we got to start speaking that into the present. It's happening. And ladies, gents, these are examples of men who are actually actively out there doing the work and internally doing the work. All the men ain't broken. Okay? And they know firsthand all the women ain't broken. So we got to keep doing the work. We got to keep showing up, and we have to keep being loud about it because it's happening. I don't give a damn what the world is showing you. It's taking place. You just have to now have the veil lifted from your eyes, and you have to see it for yourself. And that is, once again, the reason for tonight's live, for you to see it up close and personal. Now, Antonio, what patterns do you hope to end with your generation? The patterns that we were just discussing. What do you hope to end?
I mean, are you referring to my generation or the generation that we're in?
With your generation, what patterns do you hope to end with your generation? So what do you not want the next generation to experience as far as the things that you've healed and overcome?
Okay. I think just more so, girl, you took your time on this.
A whole month.
I think
I don't know why y'all thought, wait. I don't know why y'all thought this was going to be simple. I'm not a surface level type of chick. This is soul provoking.
Yeah.
You got to get some. You got to hydrate and drink some magnesium. Get some magnesium before you get this conversation.
I think it's just more so about wanting different. Seeing how I grew up and the things that I had to experience, I think it's just more so about wanting something different. I mean, my opinion, I'm the black sheep of my family. I'm the only person I'm the second person in my family to ever graduate high school, first person to ever go to college, and now I got 3 college degrees. And it seems as if, to me, that's not enough. It's a lot, but it's not enough. I'm not done. And I want so much more, and I want the next ones to want more as well. Just never stop improving. I never say I got it from Les Brown. There's no such thing as perfection. There's always such a thing as improvement.
Yes, he says practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes improvement. I say that every day. I kid you not.
So it's like when you want better, you'll do better. But at the same time, you gotta also understand that it's gonna be some hurdles you gotta jump over. It's gonna be some rocks that you gotta climb on top of. And you can't let that stop you because it's gonna be some days you're gonna get stuck in the mud. But when you want something different and it turns you into a person that you never thought you would see, I think a lot of people when I reference to people when they ask Antonio, when the last time you cried? This morning in the gym. And it's like, why you crying in the gym? It might sound crazy, but the reason I cry in the gym is because I sweat so heavy nobody can tell the difference. But I'm letting it out. That's my way of letting it out. And the main thing that stays on my mind is my daughter. Like she's growing up in a world that I know I'm not gonna always be here for, but I need to do what I need to do as her dad based on the experiences that I had and the things that I saw growing up. I remember standing in front of that screen door waiting for him to get off the bus or wait for him to pull up, and he never did. I never want her to allow her to see that thing. So to understand it's different for me to want different for them, no matter if it's just her or however many, I think I'm the youngest in the group right here, but I don't know if, any more coming, but yeah, I just want it to be different so that you can understand the difference of what you don't have to go through because I've made a plan and a purpose for you not to go through that. I want you to understand that it's different out here, that you don't have to work as hard as dad had to work, but you're going to understand how hard dad did work to get to where he was at. It ain't easy out here, and I never want anybody to ever think that it will be easy, because if it was easy, we all be rich, driving Maseratis and never having anything to worry about. So understand that the difficulties will have rocks. The easy days may come, but it's going to be very far and few between when we do have those. But work and work hard. Never give up and keep pushing, because the day that you sit back and say, I did just enough today, today was just enough, you got to push a little bit harder. I always tell myself when I'm in the gym, that was a good set of 10. Let's do 5 more. Go above and beyond to be better than you were yesterday. Because the only person that you got to beat is the person that's standing in that mirror. That's the only person you got to beat. So yeah, there we go. Boom,
Oh,
boom.
yes. I don't have the little clap. Somebody got to show me how to do the little applause on here. That was fire. Absolutely. Because it's imperative, because we're setting the example. But back to my reference of the Cosby Show, they need to know as best as we can give them, they need to know the struggle to getting to this place. Because although Cliff and Claire were very successful and could give their children the world, they didn't give them that grit that they had to get to where that they became successful. Those kids were just, we're rich and all this stuff. No. We're rich. You have nothing. That to me is the most classic line. You have nothing. I got the money, and I got the money in my way, and I had to earn it. Now you got to go earn yours. But the thing about it is, making the next generation greater is giving them that leverage, giving them that platform to stand on, because it's a thing where as a mother of a young Black man, I cannot fight his battles anymore. I never practiced fighting his battles in the first place. It was hard because you do want to when they're young, but he had to learn as a young man, mommy is not going to be here to do these things for you. So you need to learn how to face them yourself. Now he's to the point, he ain't trying to show nobody nothing. He ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody. He trying to prove it to himself. I got this. Don't even worry about it. I'm not going to enable you to go out here in the world. If something were to happen to me when he was younger, heaven forbid, he still got to figure it out. Why not let him figure it out and know that he can fall back if he fails? That right there is one of the greatest gifts we can give our children. But it's like, you got to go fight. You got to go get your own grit. You got to go get your fingernails dirty a little bit, because otherwise you won't see the value in what it is that I had to work for, and you won't see the value in what it is that you're working for. It's huh?
I'm sorry not to cut you off. I think I heard that from TD Jakes. It was a message he gave out, and he was telling congregation, if I gave my children the car keys at age 5, they would crash the car. But it took time, it took patience, it took understanding to sit back and say, listen, baby girl, baby boy, you're not yet, you're not ready yet. I know you want this. And that's how I look at life today, how God treats me and how he prepares me for certain things. I know you want this right now. I know you need it and I want to give it to you. But I'm going to tell you right here and right now, if I give it to you, you're going to tear it up. So sit back, take your time and understand that the wait is not for nothing. Sit back and understand that I'm prepping it for you while you're in preparation. I'm about to stop. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
You're absolutely right. It doesn't stop. It's like we do it to our children, and the higher powers, whatever you want to call it, does it to us throughout life. So we're kind of like the training ground for our kids. It's like this is that was right on point. Let me proceed as time is dwindling down over here, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Chauncy,
We'll go. What's coming?
what emotion? Because you are definitely a guy that's in tune emotionally. You symbolize a healthy balance of the masculine and feminine energy, which is definitely something that I am helping all people to reach, that healthy balance. What emotional skill do you believe men must develop if we're going to evolve collectively?
What emotional skill men need to develop? Okay. Well, since it might be the last time I talk, first of all, I want to say happy early birthday to you. So I had to make sure I get that in there while I'm still trying to think in the back of my head. But I had to make sure that I definitely got that in there. And I think I'm gonna travel down that road and kind of flow into this. But I think it's that ability to actually tap into that divine feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. And sometimes it's easy to lead into lean into that masculine energy where you're at. What energy like you're built, you're born into, I guess you could say, or what have you, or what energy you present the most. So I would say, and I would, let me step back. Is diving into whichever energy you don't use the most. I would say that way. So for most men, that is, getting into that feminine energy, that creative energy, something that might be a little softer, that may be a little sweeter versus rah, I guess, and vice versa. Learning, for some people, and sometimes it is just knowing when it's time to get out there and kick some ass, really. I'm gonna say it like that, and go out there and say what you need to say or what have you. So I would say that ultimately it is the knowing when to dive in and out. It's really that that yin and yang, kind of, because you've got there's a point of yang and yin and yang, and vice versa, but knowing when to dip in and out of that, knowing when when it's okay to soften it up, but when you need to just hey, no holds bars. It's like I got the wrong one today at the right time. You got to know when it's time for that part of you to come out, but also knowing when it's time, okay, yeah, this does not take that, and just knowing when to tap in into that, and when to tap out of that. I think that just across the board, that's going to be important for everybody, and especially going forward. Um, yeah, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it at that before before I I go a little political. But yeah, 'cause I
I
don't get into
agree.
politics.
I agree 1,000%. It's you got to create that balance because, like you said, it has a lot to do with decision making and the opportunity, to when you need to speak up and assert yourself versus when you need to just fall back and relax and possibly just observe, and not react or respond to whatever. And I believe you have to become healthy within both
Yep.
before they're allowed to actually merge. And you're constantly doing this, and then it's like, okay, we're in a natural flow. I got it. I get it. It's a process, but I really hope in the future that is something. I'm very optimistic that it will be something, especially now that we're becoming more educated and becoming more aware of when we're in those spaces.
Yeah.
What we do within the those defined spaces of masculine and feminine energy. I really.
And then truly and two, just to just to point off of one last thing he said, the awareness is the key, and the self-awareness is really truly a key there too. So but to your point, yeah, I think, but I will say, I think that people are becoming more self-aware and more tied into who they truly are. I just see it in general. People are truly getting tied into who they are versus who the system is has trained them to be, or what has been ingrained into them through generation after generation after generation. So I think that is, you sparked that in my brain. But yeah, that awareness, that self-awareness is coming on strong in this day and time. And I think it's something that's becoming very important. And yeah, to your point, that awareness. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's exciting. It's very exciting. Chris, I got a good one for you.
Ooh, buddy, have fun with that.
I just had it. Hold on. Oh, how do you hope men will begin to measure success differently in the future? Nowadays, it's money, it's all the material things, but how do you hope that they measure success down the line?
Continue to grow mentally. That's it. Is nothing else I can say about it, because for us to make money, for us to have successful relationships, for us to do all of the things that we want to do, our mental has to be right. That's just bottom line to it. And understanding that is the beginning of moving forward. Because I I feel like a lot of us, like you said, we look at success as monetary things. We look at success as the things that we can touch versus the things that we can't touch physically, but being able to mentally touch those things and progress is more important than anything. Because for us, if we can't understand ourselves, we can't understand another person, another man, we can't understand another woman, we can't understand how to mentally exercise versus physically exercising. Because as we already know, when we're mentally tired, nothing else works. Nothing else works, nothing else progresses, nothing else changes, because we're mentally burnt out and we need that reset. If we don't grab that reset in in that progression, we're going to stay stagnant. We're not going to want to do anything. We're not going to be able to recognize the things that we need to recognize in that pattern or in that progression, to announce to ourselves who we really are and how we can be better. So it's the mental part for us that has to increase.
I love that. You're absolutely right. And even in the chats, one was saying mental is everything, because if your mind's not right, nothing else is gonna be right. Your health ain't gonna be right. Your money ain't gonna be right. Your relationships ain't gonna be right. None of that. And I know Antonio, he's in the mental health industry. You have to have clear thinking. You have to have right thinking. You can't be all over the place and expect for your life to be in order. Just can't happen. So I want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for being here. And please share last words of wisdom, anything you want to share, what you're working on, your brand, and all how people can get in contact with you. Mr. Ford, we're going to start with you.
All right. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I got a lot of stuff going on. You can obviously you can see me with the Horsemen 3 times a week, and then I have in the morning 9 a.m. Eastern time. Also, I do breakfast with brethren on Saturday mornings. We cooking and conversation. Also, I have Ford's Focus, which is a live that I do a men's panel on Monday mornings, just to make sure that we doing exactly what we was talking about in here, which is iron sharpening iron, right? And making sure that we building brothers to where we can step up and really be impactful for each other. Other than that, I have my background's in leadership. I have 1111 Leadership Consulting. You can reach me here in TikTok, and then obviously on Instagram, Mr. 420. But great conversation. I'm super excited that to be a part of it, and those are some good questions. Good questions. Whenever you ask a question and everybody else in the panel is happy that they didn't get asked the question, that's when you know you. That's when you know you asking the question. Everybody taking a little extra air.
Yeah. But what do y'all say? Y'all getting this work?
Yep. Y'all go, as my man Velvet Joe said, you're going to get this work.
You're going to get this work. You're going to get this work.
But now, I appreciate it.
What is any last minute advice you can offer to anyone who is struggling? Okay, here's what I like to always tell people. The person that you're here to serve is the past version of you. So if you could talk to someone who is going through similar or the same struggles that you went through, that you overcome, what is something that you would offer them here?
Oh, this is going to be brief, bright, and be gone on this one. Make sure you understand who you are, and the quicker you get in alignment with your purpose, the sooner you're going to get to the destination that God has ordained for you. I'm going to leave it right there.
I love it. I love it. Welcome back, Dom. I'm going to let you say your piece in just a few moments, because those of you that don't remember or don't recall, a couple months ago, Dom and I had a platform that we shared with the Awakened Men and the Awakened Women, where you got both perspective of 2 individuals who were on their healing journey. And it was amazing, but our schedules got a little kooky, so we couldn't continue. But any and all times that we can share on this platform, we are going to do just that for those that are definitely on their awakening and spiritual journey. I'm gonna go over to Antonio. Let the people know who you are, how they can reach you, and if you have any advice to offer.
Well, Antonio Wright, like I said, owner of the Right Mentality. You can find me here, TikTok, Chivalry Isn't Dead. I always tell people, there's still some men out here. We still very chivalrous, still open doors and send flowers. Instagram, Facebook, The Right Mentality, or you could just search Antonio Wright. I'll pop up. I am currently working on a mentorship for troubled youth, and I'm also working on a book, little, motivational daily devotional, to put out to people, to give out, words of wisdom and advice with some scripture behind it. Advice that I would give, just keep going, just keep pushing. If you need help, please ask. I know that ego is there. I know that pride is there. Just ask. Just don't sit back. My thing is never think you can fight it alone, because you can't. You'll sit there and tell yourself so many different stories, flip it so many different ways, try to convince yourself that you got this, and it's gonna beat you up every single day. So if you need help, just ask, seek it. It's out here. Even if you gotta just, look, go down to the clinic. Tell somebody. If you tell, all you got to do is tell one person. That's all it took for me. I told my life coach. She took me the rest of the way. So shout out Sonia. She ain't here. Appreciate you. That's all you got from Mr. Wright.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. Chris, let them know. Let them know.
Just like everybody else, I'm gonna say happy birthday.
Thank you.
Start off that way. On TikTok, as you can see, Chris equals your coach. I'm on Instagram, but I barely post on there. I just go on there and look at stuff. So best way to reach me is here, or email speakandseekco@gmail.com. I currently have a book out, which I'm waiting for a shipment of those to come in. Working on my second book right now, working on a digital product. And that's about it. I try to stay productive in my daily routine. And advice, I would say realization, reconstruction, and rehabilitate, in that order. So I appreciate you having us. I appreciate hearing the insight from the other fellas up here. I followed everybody that's on here, and I look forward to seeing the progression of what each and every guy up here is doing. I just connected with everybody through this live, but to see what people are doing and the steps, like I was talking about earlier, that we will see, and then the unveiling of products, the unveiling of their coaching, the unveiling of their motivation is what I'm looking for, because their motivation becomes my motivation, and it's a cycle. And we see, like, damn, he over there doing that. You know what? Let me see if I can collaborate with him, or let me try to come up with my own product, but let me get his input and how he did it and the steps that he took to get there. So it's just, like, honestly, it's just loving on each other. That's it.
And if I could say this just for a moment, Chris, I've watched you over the years, and it was intentional for me to ask you up here because I know where you want to go. And I know you need to be surrounded by men like this that can inspire you that much more, because you got it. You got the package. You got the desire. You just need to be more inundated with men who are on that same frequency, and for you to contribute to them as well.
Right.
You got
this is the part that I hate, because, and I'm not gonna say hate, I dislike. I get emotional when other people see my potential, because I'm gonna be honest right now,
Yeah.
at times I don't see my own potential. And to hear other people, whether it's a male or a female, to say, hey, I see where you're going, I see your vision, lets me know that my purpose and what I'm doing is needed. Just like everybody else on this panel, their purpose is needed for everything. So for a person to say that to me, it makes me emotional. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay. We talk about emotions. You
Listen, I don't care about showing my emotions. You want to call me a punk? Call me what you want. I don't care.
Nah,
But
nah.
I just know my tear ducts work. I say that.
Hey,
That's it. But no, overall though, like it warms my heart. It really warms my heart to hear and see people say certain things. So I'm going to continue on my journey, because I know it's mine, but to the vision that other people have is phenomenal. But I'm gonna leave it there. I thank you, Dawn. I look forward to this again. Brother Ford, I work during the day, so I'm gonna try to check out your lives on Mondays, but definitely Saturdays. I'm gonna tune into you because to hear other brothers doing stuff and making a difference, even if it's just in our community as men, in our community as brown people, period, it's a blessing. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yes. Chauncey!
Here we go.
Where can people find you? What you got going on? And any last words of encouragement?
Yep, I'm going to say first of all, again, happy birthday. Even though I didn't know there was going to be another time to say that, so I'm going to say it a
Okay,
second
you
time.
said it.
Also, this give you a flower. Let's try this again. Give you your flowers and say thank you for putting this together. This was a wonderful panel. There was some great interaction. Obviously, we know you don't do your homework. You did your homework, and had the questions that matched up to everybody.
Made
And
y'all
made us
sweat a
all
little
say,
bit.
yeah. And they, 'cause when I first jumped in, I'm gonna say this and move on. When I first jumped in, I'm looking at other people's questions. I was kind of that person at school that will always like read ahead to know, okay, I'm about to read this paragraph. So I listen to somebody else's question. I'm like, oh, okay, I know how to answer that, and I'm like, oh, that is not the question I was given. So, anyways, you did a fantastic job there. So, thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
But yeah, C Scott Inc., C Scott INC, across the board. Instagram, Instagram, TikTok. Some stuff on YouTube is going to be jumping back in there, kind of measuring some stuff up there. But yeah, that's where you can find me at there. We'll begin to be posting back on here again. But because I have work life 9 to 5 outside of the coaching and stuff, and life is it's life is life, and yeah, so it's like, okay, we gotta have that channel open when it's open. And if something's not flowing in there, you're never gonna have me have a video just to say I posted a video that day and to keep posting. But this has given me the energy to pop back in here and put some stuff in here. It's refreshed and got the cobwebs off. So I appreciate that. And also, so when everything kind of slows down, we're going to get that book out. So it is ready. Just needs to be be put in the right form for for Kindle delivery, or however ready for print, direct print. So that one's ready to go. But I would say, as far as advice, if I was to give it to my older self and just advice in general, it would be to be fully authentic, and be, truly fully authentic. So, I think those are two things that go in there together, but just, and you have to know who you are and pull yourself away from any systems you might have been raised in, any type of, people please you might have been raised in, who you think that you should be based off of who you think you are. You don't need to be anybody for anything for anybody outside of who you are, but just to be truly authentic. So true to yourself, but also fully authentic, like everybody can see the fullness of who you are without dimming that down for anybody. Because at the end of the day, and apologize for anybody that might get offended by this, but at the end of the day, fuck them. If they don't like you, and this is who you truly give yourself to, people like, here I am. And if they don't like it, they can't kill you. They can't put you in heaven or hell. That's between you and whatever entity or source you believe in. So F them. I'm gonna censor myself that last time, and I'm out. Thank you for having me.
I always say all the time, I'm like Mary J. Blige, take me as I am or have nothing at all. It is there's no in between, ain't no gray area. This is what you get. If it's not for you, carry on.
Yep.
And I treat others the same way.
Yep.
It's not for me, I'm gonna keep it pushing in the opposite direction. So everybody was mentioning their book, and really quickly, I don't know if you guys saw my post, but as an early birthday present to myself, I committed and revealed to the world my first solo book. The cover Pre-sale will begin April 1st. The book will be coming out. I want to bring it out June 5th, which is my son's birthday. But it will be in June, sometime around there. I just want to make sure production is going to go according to plan. But I'm really excited because this book is my journey, of becoming. And it's going to be very vulnerable. It's going to be very honest, but it's also going to be very enlightening for people to be able to reflect on what phase of their journey, of their unfolding they're in. And it's called it's called But First We Must Burn. And it's literally the journey of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Everything that was meant to destroy literally took those ashes and built this beautiful being that you see before you. And I'm always calling myself that, but I'm getting emotional thinking about it because I'm so excited. And I'm excited for everybody to read it. I'm excited for everybody to receive something from it. Exactly. It turned that pain into power, and that power became my purpose. So it is not just a gift to myself to unveil it. It is also my gift to you guys because it's there to help someone else go through. It's really a roadmap that I needed when I was going through my journey in the beginning, to make sure, as I said before, I didn't do the therapy. I had source telling me, do this, do that, don't do this, go bump your head over here a couple times, go get knocked out a couple times over here. And it was me that had to pull myself out of it. Couldn't go to a therapist because they were going to tell me I was crazy. But I knew deep down, no, I'm not crazy. I just need to be understood. And the only way to be understood is I had to learn how to understand myself. Nobody else is going to do it for me. So once again, I'll keep you guys posted. And I'm also going to take you guys on the journey of completing the book. So that's exciting. Just stay tuned for that. Now, I'm going to go over here to my guy. We go, because he going to bring us home. All right. Yeah, the pressure's been applied. So, Dom, while you were doing your service, helping another being rise and become the greatest version of themselves, we talked about men and the challenges that they don't talk about. We talked a lot about emotions and the emotions that are being carried. We talked about the different obstacles and weights that men carry on a regular basis that silently you can't speak about, and how you give more to others than you give to yourselves. We also talked about being uncomfortable with the growth. We talked about becoming aware of who you really are, living in your authentic truth. And we also talked about how feminine, the divine feminine, has assisted along the journey of becoming the man that you are. Now, I'm giving you a whole bunch, and I want to see what kind of download you get from that.
Well, so I teach a domestic violence class every Tuesday night. So this is a bunch of men who have are in the journey of finding themselves and who have been causing harm to others. And so my passion is to bring them back to a place of humanity and help them to understand who they are, help them to understand what their role is, and help them to embody true masculinity. Teach this class from the place of me being in the class myself at one point in time. So that means I was an abusive and toxic man myself. Grew up in that environment. Some of the stuff y'all talked about today covered that. And so part of my journey and my awakening was I developed a passion to want other men to heal, not just to exist, not just to get a 401k and be successful and have generational wealth. No, that's cool. Somebody else can teach you that. I want to teach you how to embody yourself. I want to show you who you are. I want to show you that you are more than this toxic, abusive 3D place that we live in. So that's what I was doing. I thought we were going to 8, so my bad on that part.
We
Um,
probably
but
are.
but nonetheless, I'm glad that these brothers are here. And I'm glad that everybody was here. And you guys, I know y'all held it down. Y'all did exactly what Dawn, her vision was. And, she's the, the guru of this. And so I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of all the topics that you guys covered, because rarely in a space do we get this caliber of men who are speaking this way, about the healing, about the journey. It doesn't happen too often. When it does happen, it's a powerful thing. And so I'm grateful, even for the little bit of time that I'm here. I'm grateful. I'm in gratitude just being here with y'all. As far as advice in this piece, I would just say to everyone, go within, go within. The answers are within you. It's within. You come from a lineage of ancestors. And I don't know people get all butthurt. I don't care. Lineage. You come from DNA. You come from. You come from thousands. I mean, you come from DNA of people who carry wisdom, who carry light, who carry the codes, who carry love. And so go within, find out who you are. You have the answers. I heard you talking to Brother Chris right here, he already got it. I don't know you, brother, but you already got it. You already got it. You already got it. It's in you. And everybody on here, it's already in us. We're already doing it. The fact that we're here. So I'm excited about that place. I don't even know what happened, but I know it was powerful.
What
I know,
happened?
I know. Well, yeah, I know what happened.
What happened?
I know it was powerful. So I'm grateful to be in this journey. I'm grateful to be a man that has been able to find himself and is still finding himself. I'm grateful to be a man who has moved beyond fear. I'm not scared no more. I ain't scared of my past. I'm not scared of who I am. I'm not scared of people leaving me. I'm not scared of somebody not liking me. I'm not scared, but I'm not arrogant either. I move in gratitude. I move in peace, and I move in love, and that's the space that I'm in. And I want to not want to. I'm staying in that space, and uh I'm serving this planet.
Mhm.
Community ain't enough for no more. It ain't enough. Just community ain't enough. I want more. There's enough people out here, within my community, outside of my community, and on this planet, that are hurting, that are broken, that don't know that there is a code, there is a formula for healing, for growth, for health, for love, for gratitude. And so who am I to try to just get it myself and keep it? No, I want everybody to have this. I will never force this on anyone, but I just want to introduce you to the energy and let you know, hey, listen, there's some other stuff out here that's good for us, fellas. There's some other stuff out here. So, and that does not mean, by any stretch of the word, that does not mean that any of us, none of us, well, let me speak for me. That does not mean that I walk on water. I am a divine being and I am a human man. I'm all and everything in between. And I accept myself totally, completely. And so I want to give that to men. Men are my passion first. I work with women too, but I would much rather work with us. I don't want to be one of these dudes on social media called talking to women. Damn that. I want us. Damn that. I mean, no, no. Dawn, you get them. Us. Us. It's too easy. That's too easy with them, man. That's a bunch of man. Forget that. No, us. We are the ones that need to heal. We are the ones that need to grow. We are the ones that need to find ourselves. We need to find ourselves. And so I'm a land the plane there that my passion is for men. That's why I work with men. I teach the domestic violence class. I work with the Marine Corps. I teach anger management, stress management, and that's primarily men. I'm going to be working with the Navy now, working with men there. I have a contract with LA City, LA County, Los Angeles County to teach domestic violence there too. And my audience is primarily men, and I'm extremely proud to say that. I'm proud to sit with men right here, healed men, because I got the spectrum, men that are healing, and then to sit with men that are on that journey and that are healed as well. So I'll land the plane there. There's a lot more to say, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let us, get out of here. But Don, thank you for this vision, ma'am. Thank you for this vision. You are you. I'm telling you. We all here because of you. Listen, thank you for
I,
this
I,
vision.
I want to thank each of you for, yes, accepting the invitation to be up here. But I also want to thank each of you for the enthusiasm that you had behind it, because you each were like, yes, let's go. This was something that was definitely needed. And it's been something that's been in my heart space, in my head space for quite some time. I want to do it again. If you're open and available, I'll send out another message, but it's very important for me. And I will say this on a personal level. I have a son who has to be out here with you guys. I've had brothers, blood brothers, who are broken men, who didn't choose this path that I chose, who didn't choose the path that you guys chose. I've had, a father who suffered from his brokenness. I've had a grandfather who camouflaged his brokenness with his distinguished, power and energy, but yet and still, I watched him become this crumbled, broken man down the line. I don't want to see that anymore, and I damn sure don't want to see it in my own kid. So my offering to men, not just my friendship, not just my cute smile, not just my energy, but the ability to feel seen and heard, to show other women this is a team effort. We can't expect them to fall into our game plan. We got to create one together. This is not how this was supposed to be designed. Us against y'all, y'all against us, and us not working as a unit. As I said before, we didn't start out like that. We not going to end like that. It's only been a couple 100 years where we've been at this strange, these strange odds. But like I said, we keep weaving back and forth. We keep finding it, then losing it, finding it, then losing it. Now we're finding it on a deeper spiritual level, and that's something nobody can ever take from us. So if I can do my part by just having a platform and saying, hey, y'all, here goes some men that are healing. So stop saying that men ain't doing the work. Stop saying the things that aren't true. These men are figuring it out. They are paving the way. They are the way showers. And there's plenty more where that came from. But here are the ones that I know on this platform. They are here to work with us, and we got to work with them. Let's stop fighting. Let's stop bumping heads. Let's stop comparing. Let's stop judging. And let's start uniting as a people and as beings that are supposed to do greater work. Because guess what? We got smaller eyes watching us. As many parents as on this platform, as many parents in the chat, we got eyes that are watching us. Yes, we are the collective. We are one. And what we do to one, we do to the whole. Start with you first. Start with you first. For those of you that don't know, you can go in my link in my bio. Am I supposed to say that up here? Go in my bio. It will have everything, all things Dawn Kristen Ellison. It'll have my hoodie line. If you want to send me a birthday gift, you can go ahead and purchase a hoodie or a t-shirt there. All of my services are there. This live will be up tomorrow on YouTube. The link will also be in my bio. I will send it out to each of you gentlemen as well. I truly appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. This is a great way to introduce my 44th birthday. It's my Obama year. It's my Obama year. And this is just the first of many things that I have planned down the line. I at some point do intend to have all of these men and so many more live and in person. So please stay tuned for that, because this is just not a live. This is a movement that's taking place. And we're just going to continue doing the work. We're going to continue doing this work, and we're going to continue to become the greatest and best versions of ourselves on purpose, with purpose, and unapologetically, honey. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Love, peace, and blessings.
Thank you.
I'll see y'all later.